Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Market and Independent Trading Group, we're very pleased you joined us for the Blockchain and Digital Assets Conference. The next live presentation is from SPIR Blockchain Capital. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides, and you can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Scheduled Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome our next presenter. He's Louis Bateman, Chief Executive Officer of SPIR Blockchain Capital, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol SBLCF and on the CSE as SPIR. Welcome, Louis.
John, thank you very much. And for those who are all watching and attending this meeting, I really do appreciate everyone's time and effort. I know it's a commitment of effort to coming and listening to us, but I do think there's a real opportunity here in discussing what we are doing as a business and how we're formulating our business for the future. The next slide is really to talk about our disclosures. And we are a public company. We will try and achieve an understanding of what we're trying to do, but understand that we can't make any future statements. And please don't hold me to everything I say. But we look forward to giving you the right information in a timely way. And we look forward to the strong relationship of investors with our business. We really are in a unique market. There's a lot of opportunities that are in this segment. And we fundamentally believe that we're still in a bull cycle as we've seen new all-time highs in BTC. And we continue to see a diversified plan of action, both on, I'll call it regular course business, but also the opportunities of alternative crypto assets, and even the development of what I would call real-world assets or investable tokenized funds. And we really are supportive of this blockchain technology over the last couple of years, as once we were listed in September of 2022, and I came on board as the CEO in November of 2022. I personally come with over 25 years of capital markets experience. I started at a bulge bracket firm in New York City. I'm Canadian by background, came back to Canada, had the opportunity to work at one of the largest exchanges in Canada, and fundamentally believe when I was working there, the opportunity of structured products. And about 12 years ago, I came across the Satoshi paper. And one of the things that I fundamentally saw was the delivery mechanism is very similar to exchange traded funds, but it is in a peer-to-peer and it's on-chain. And you're seeing nowadays that development, that cycle of development. We went from mutual funds to ETFs, and now we're seeing large ETF providers or asset managers seeing the viability and the understanding and the abilities that the opportunities are for the use of blockchain. And so you're seeing the likes of the Fidelities of the world, Franklin Templetons, BlackRock, Wisdom Tree, UBS, all of them are saying to themselves the delivery mechanism of tokenized funds or digitized assets is the next inroads for people, their sovereignty and their way to gaining wealth. And we fundamentally believe this. We think that we can offer a level of service, technology development, and overall building process as a public company. We're leading in this innovational space because of what our prospectus allows us to be cleared for. And we are a pioneer in tokenized asset management, leveraging our previous experience and our knowledge and our capacity. Sorry. One of the things we know we want to do is provide solution sets that allow for the adoption and also the ability to move forward. We've created a large technology build out over the last year, of which we're going to come to market with. And we're also going to be utilizing our key understanding of structured products in launching products. And to date, we've already launched 2 ETFs on the Swiss exchange and that are co-listed on the Deutsche Börse. These products will ultimately allow for customization and the ability to be tokenized on new regulatory compliant digital exchanges. And so what we have now is a real strong buy and hold strategy. We have the ability to hold crypto assets on behalf of our own treasury. We have the regulatory backing of our prospectus, but also the regulatory backing of our asset management. We have developed and built out a tokenized asset management or wealth management platform, and we have the gateways for both on-ramps and off-ramps. As such, we feel we're very keenly unique in our position, and the fact that we've done 4 years of audits. We have the regulatory standing of FINMA and also BC Securities. And we've been supporting and putting together the clear understanding of what we think is unique in the marketplace with building our own ecosystem and allowing for the ability to tokenize assets and transitioning traditional funds like ETPs or ETFs into digital formation. We're uniquely positioned from a structuring perspective. We want to have a unique position in our structuring. So SPIR Blockchain Capital Inc. is listed as a holding company on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the ticker SPIR. That subsidiary holds 100% of our operating company, Spirit AG. Spirit AG is where we hold all of our proprietary platform, our tokenization, and our operating costs and our operating business. There's a real tax efficiency inside of that because of the jurisdiction of which we are running the business from. And then we have Spirit Digital AG, which is the FinControl applied, FINMA regulated entity that will be an asset manager of tokenized funds and the funds that we are actually operating under ETP rule set. This gives us a really unique position from a diversification, from a taxation, and from a regulatory overview or regulatory oversight. And we're unique in that structure, very different than some of the other companies that are publicly listed and are just being a proxy to an underlying digital asset or a deliverable of an underlying development under the one organization. We will be introducing in the coming weeks and months our actual application and development, which is called or coined as Spirit Link. It will have a multi-asset access point that allows for fiat on-ramps and also other cryptocurrencies. So as you wish to purchase the underlying wealth management offerings or structured funds, we will also allow for that to be consumed or bought with multiple currencies. That infrastructure is a tokenized fund structure where we're an issuer of those funds as a primary offering, and we will also have the ability in the future to list those on a secondary market. All of this will be done under the guidance and rule sets of the Swiss FINMA regulatory community, but our overarching prospectus that we have cleared. We will be integrating a KYC and AML onboarding, so we will know every single client, how they're affiliated, where they're affiliated, do they qualify as an accredited investor, retail investor, or institutional investor. And we will also allow for the bridging of those assets to be structured not only with our funds, but if there are opportunities to partner with other strategic relationships. We believe that there's a real key differentiator from a business perspective in the fact that we are looking to build a fast, secure, global access point and the ability to give our clients not only sovereignty if they wish to hold their assets for themselves with their own wallets, but also in the wallet that we've created for our clients additionally. This is what we think is one of the largest technological advancements in the asset management space, and we're very fortunate to be at the forefront of this space. Although these are early days, the adoption, as we know, has been moving greatly over the last 18 months. You're seeing massive inroads in tokenizing money market funds, real-world assets, even commodities, to the point where we're seeing billions and billions of dollars now coming into the fold of tokenized assets. We think that our differentiator is that we have clear regulatory framework under the guidance of FINMA. We have an efficiency model from a tokenization of the underlying assets. We fundamentally believe that we're going to give liquid assets and the ability for the execution of those assets and underlying net asset value of those products, but also the maturity and the understanding of how to develop structured products and structured digital assets. We have a clear roadmap. The roadmap has been done over the last several quarters. We went out into the market with our overall offering. We've structured some key strategic relationships over the last couple of quarters. We are launching our own product offerings. We successfully launched our 2 ETPs over the last 60 days. And we see ourselves expanding that portfolio and expanding our relationships from a tactical perspective over the coming quarters. And we're very excited, obviously, for the work that we've been working on for the better part of the last year in creating our Spirit Link platform. All of these things, if you think about it from a key investment perspective, is you're getting a very poignant and opportunistic investment here. This is where the market is moving towards. I remember the early days of ETFs, and everyone thought that adoption rate would take, a short period of time. And what I truly understand now with, I'll call it Metcalfe's law, the rate of adoption and the rate of access, both domestically and globally, is far superseding anyone's estimates. And so what I do believe, even some of the underlying reports, is that there is going to be a conversion of not only billions of dollars, but trillions of dollars into the digital market. We're now cresting over $3.5 trillion of asset value, and I don't see that time anytime slowing down. You really do have an opportunity with Spirit as a first mover advantage. We have clearly defined prospectus. We have a clearly defined and experienced team. And we do have the true opportunity here, unlike some of the other asset managers, but we're solely focused on this book of business. We're not just taking or housing what was a portion of our business and maturing it into this new structure, but in actuality focusing on the development of that marketplace. And I think we're at a formative position that if you become an investor with us, you'll exceed the opportunity and be part of the opportunity overall, where you're in a focused investment. I want to thank everyone's time today and listening to me. I am very excited as the leader of this company to extend our opportunity to talk to us directly. We have a significant team behind me implementing the business as a whole. Some of those members are even on this call today, but ultimately I think there's an opportunity if you wish to reach out to us on our email at info@spiritblockchain.com. We would be happy to answer any more direct questions. And certainly we would ask you to look at our ticker SBLCF on the OTC markets, and obviously direct at the CSE under SPIR. I'm going to turn it over to answering some questions now, and I hope to answer them appropriately. Just give me one moment. All right. The first question is, can you tell more about the proprietary tokenization platform and what problem it solves and aims? Well, I think there's a couple of things that we can talk about. There is, we've been developing our own tokenized platform for a better part of a year. And what we fundamentally believe needs to be a centralized platform. And that centralized platform allows for the onboarding and offboarding of client assets in a validated and verified way. But it also allows for us to customize and solutionize fund offerings and digital fund offerings. And that's what it's trying to solve, so that when clients are wanting a diversified portfolio or a portfolio of digital assets, we're able to allow for that under one associated wallet offering and one associated custodial offering that clients can either maintain or asset manage their assets for them on behalf. The next question is, how does SPIR approach a balance between traditional finance structure and decentralized finance structure? Well, I think it's really opportunistic. At the end of the day, there has to be a transition, and I'll call it an evolution, of utilizing tokenized products. We're seeing that right now, but you have to do it in a regulatory and a compliant way. And that adjustment is really trying to show that we have a trusted facilitation. And having that trusted facilitation is brought upon the fact that we are a public company, that we have audited financials, that we use regulatory standings to do what we say we're going to do, and we facilitate all of that in a strict governance and processed way. I think doing all those things will bridge that nascent person or that nascent investor to saying, okay, I have had traditional funds, whether it be mutual funds or exchange traded funds, and there is a cost or a barrier from that perspective, but yet I want to now maintain, hold, and even possibly develop my own set of funds or my own set of allocational tools on a digital capacity, part and parcel holding crypto assets. And so I think this is what we at Spirit Link and the spirit of our business is trying to achieve. Thoughts on tokenizing equities and the timeline of that? Well, I think it's more immediate. I think there's a real opportunity that equities are going to be tokenized. You're already seeing that happen under MiCA rules. So there's other jurisdictions that are starting to formulate that process. We're going to be part and parcel of it. And I actually fundamentally believe we can help in the equities world because of naked short selling and other things that have happened in the past. Having securities and equities on chain can limit that capacity. And fundamentally, I think SPIR can be one of those relationships that can work with corporate entities that can commoditize and build out solution sets that equities can be part of the, I'll call it the tokenizational path. What are your milestones to the end of the year? Well, there are significant milestones that we're trying to achieve. One is the launch of our actual tokenized platform. We hope to have that done within this quarter and possibly into the third quarter. That will allow us to obviously have a direct interaction with key clients and key relationships. The ability to raise assets under management or raise assets under our custody is really critical. We just started in revenues in the month of March with our launch of our 2 ETPs. We wish to grow those ETPs out more significantly, both on the product side, but under the assets under management. And we certainly believe we can do that with our level of knowledge and expertise. And so those are the major goals for us, is to raise our revenue targets, raise our assets under custody, and continue with the development cycle of our products. Do you have any strategic investors or partners? We do have some very significant investors. We have some very long-term investors, and we definitely have some significant partners. EOS was one of our leading investors, EOS Foundation. And we see them still continuing to be one of our leading relationships from a blockchain capacity and technology perspective. But we're also getting a lot of discussions with other protocols and blockchain companies to work with them in partnerships. We haven't formally announced them yet, but there are several discussions right now. And certainly if you think about our ETP lineup, I would closely associate those relationships with those foundations. Revenue target, what is your revenue target? We haven't given out a revenue target, but we do want to be cash flow positive and clear our monthly expense. So right now we expense about $1.3 million a year. And as such, our initial revenue target is about that as well for this coming year. And we are on target and on pace for that. Next question, what geographic markets are you prioritizing for growth, both from an investor standpoint and from an operational standpoint? Great question. From a geographic perspective, we obviously are listed as a public company in the Canadian market space that allows us for North American investor dialogue. From an operating perspective, we are operating out of Switzerland, but we do have registrations and regulatory oversight both in Canada, Switzerland, and Dubai. We do believe we'll be extending our products and our reach through those jurisdictions. And ultimately, what we see ourselves as being listed as a public company, not only in Canada, but in Switzerland and in the Middle East. And what that will afford us is having a one security QSIP registered, but available trading 19 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I think that will be a natural proxy to the underlying digital asset, because that digital asset business, as we all know, doesn't shut down at 4:30 every day, and certainly doesn't start up every day at 9 o'clock or 9:30. And so what we want to do is really afford ourselves the ability to be a natural proxy to the underlying digital assets, give us the flexibility to talk to a number of key investors and investing relationships, but also draw upon that investment relationship to utilize the underlying services that we're developing under the regulatory framework that we have to date. Let me look at another question. The next question, could you tell me more, or sorry, I'm just moving these questions down. Some of these I've already answered. I think this will be the last question, unless someone wants to put in some more questions. But the other key question that I think has been asked upon us is what sets us apart? And I fundamentally believe if you look at our prospectus allows for us to stake, create royalties, create streaming, and the formation of the fund offerings that we are contemplating. And all of these things can be utilized in generating revenue for the overarching business. There are a lot of public companies that are talking about holding digital assets or mining digital assets, but there's not a lot of companies that are really talking about the formation or the use case of the blockchain space. And we are in the infrastructure of the blockchain space. We're utilizing our skill set from a financial services perspective in understanding that there's a global market out there, that there's over 1.2 billion people that are unbanked and do not have a true asset management platform available to them. And this service offering that we are creating can unify that from a global perspective. And I think it's also critical that we do this in a compliant geographical way, and in an understanding that not only helps our overall investor base as investors into the company, but also helps the underlying relationship base in giving them services that they're desperately needed in a marketplace. Next question. Does SPIR deal with hard gold or using gold as an on-ramp? Funny enough, I was just on a call this morning. We are looking to tokenize gold as a fund offering. And so we will have the ability to offer gold in a digital form, almost like a stable coin. And we're also able to prioritize, depending on where the feasibility of the asset is, we can take the in-kind contribution of gold. It would be at a scale or size of an institutional client, but certainly it's something that we are looking at more directly. I thank everyone for the time and consideration today, for taking the time and listening to me, and the consideration of investing in our business. I truly do believe we're at a marketable point here. We did have a large run up in the early quarter of last year, and we've definitely come off with the market being where it has. But I think ultimately where we're going to be, this is an undervalued opportunity for people to make an investment in a company like ours. And I think we do have an investable plan for the future, and ultimately an outcome that I think is going to be great for everyone. So thank you very much for your time today and your consideration. I look forward to chatting with you directly, and any good questions coming to our info email would be greatly appreciated. All the best.